Every year on July 4th, we celebrate America's independence. But here's the uncomfortable truth. When people talk about the country's success, they mostly remember presidents, businessmen, and inventors. Yet millions of women quietly changed America's economy, education, science, and businesses. And most of us don't even know their names. Today, I'll tell you the stories of women whose confidence transformed an entire nation, and why their journeys might completely change how you see your own potential. Maybe you've been told that one person's confidence doesn't really matter, but what if one woman's decision to believe in herself created millions of jobs? The first story will prove that confidence is never just personal, it becomes economic. Let me tell you the inspiring story of Madam C.J. Walker. Born to parents who had been enslaved, she grew up in poverty and worked as a washerwoman, earning barely enough to survive. Life was far from easy, but instead of letting hardship define her, she paid attention to a problem that many women around her were facing. At the time, many black women struggled with hair loss because there were very few safe, effective hair care products made for them. Where others saw an everyday problem, Madam C.J. Walker saw an opportunity to make a difference. She began creating her own hair care products, selling them door to door with determination and belief in her vision. But she didn't stop there. She trained thousands of women to become sales agents, giving them not just an income, but financial independence and the confidence to build better lives for themselves and their families. Her business grew into a nationwide success, and she became America's first self-made female millionaire. Her story teaches us that confidence isn't believing you're already successful. Confidence is believing that your problems are worth solving, your ideas are worth pursuing, and your work can make a difference. When ordinary women stop waiting for permission to act, they don't just change their own lives, they help build stronger families, stronger communities, and stronger economies. But maybe you're thinking, that's entrepreneurship. I'm not starting a business. Then let me introduce a woman who changed America simply by refusing to accept that's how things are. Her courage literally changed the workforce forever. During World War II, America needed workers more than ever, and women answered the call. Behind the iconic Rosie the Riveter were millions of real women who stepped into factories, shipyards, and manufacturing plants, while millions of men served overseas. They built airplanes, ships, weapons, and military vehicles, keeping the nation's industries running when they were needed most. Instead of collapsing under the pressure, America's economy continued to produce at an extraordinary scale because these women refused to let the country slow down. When the war ended, the nation realized something profound. Women hadn't simply been helping, they had been essential. Their contributions forever changed how America viewed women's role in the workforce and opened doors for future generations. And that's the real lesson here. Confidence isn't always loud. It isn't about making speeches or demanding attention. Sometimes confidence is simply showing up, doing the work, and proving your capability when the world doubts you, even today. Many women underestimate how much intelligence matters, but one woman's calculations literally helped America reach space. Her story proves your knowledge can change history. Now, let me tell you about Katherine Johnson. She was a brilliant mathematician at NASA who faced both racial and gender discrimination in an era when women, especially black women, were rarely given the recognition they deserved. Many underestimated her simply because of who she was. But Katherine never let other people's opinions define her abilities. Her mathematical calculations were so precise that astronauts trusted her work before they trusted the computers. In fact, before one of NASA's most critical space missions, astronaut John Glenn personally requested that Katherine verify the computer's calculations before he would take off. Her work helped send Americans safely into space, but her impact went far beyond a single mission. The space race fueled innovation, inspired generations of scientists and engineers, created new industries, and accelerated technologies that continue to shape America's economy today. Katherine Johnson's story reminds us of something powerful. Your intelligence becomes truly valuable the moment you stop apologizing for it. Confidence isn't about knowing everything. It's about trusting the preparation, skills, and knowledge you've worked so hard to build. What if your biggest weakness could become your greatest strength? One woman turned hearing loss into one of America's biggest business empires. Her story completely changes how we define confidence. Now, let's talk about Oprah Winfrey. Her journey began with immense hardship. She faced a difficult childhood, poverty, rejection, and discrimination. Many people would have allowed those experiences to define their future, but Oprah chose a different path. Instead of hiding her story, she embraced it. She spoke openly about her struggles, her failures, and the lessons she learned along the way. That honesty created a deep connection with millions of people who saw hope in her journey. What started as one woman's story grew into one of the largest media empires in America. Along the way, she created thousands of jobs, inspired entrepreneurs, championed education, encouraged millions to discover the joy of reading, and invested in initiatives that empower women and communities. Oprah's success wasn't built because her life was perfect. It was built because she refused to let her past determine her future. And that's the lesson for all of us. Confidence isn't pretending your scars don't exist. It's recognizing that your story, your struggles, and your resilience have value. Sometimes the very experiences you want to hide become the reason someone else finds the courage to keep going. So why do these stories matter today? Because every one of these women followed the same invisible pattern. And once you see it, you'll never underestimate yourself again. America's strength wasn't built by confidence alone. It was built by confident people who acted. Every woman we talked about started with something ordinary, a problem, a rejection, a limitation, a dream. None of them knew they'd change history. They simply refused to believe someone else was more qualified to make a difference. Confidence isn't loud. Self-worth isn't perfection. Self-improvement isn't becoming someone new. It's becoming brave enough to use what you already have. Countries don't become stronger because of buildings. They become stronger because ordinary people decide to contribute. And maybe the next contribution the world is waiting for is yours. If these stories inspired you, remember this. Confidence isn't something you're born with. It's something you build every time you choose action over fear. Happy Independence Day to everyone celebrating. And wherever you're watching from, may you never underestimate what one confident woman can do for herself, her family, her community, or even an entire nation. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to share it with another woman who needs this reminder today. If you want more videos that help you build a stronger mindset, overcome challenges, and upgrade the way you think, make sure you subscribe to the Mind Upgrade.